This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie Podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Welcome to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you by the Real Rosewood Foundation, Archer, Florida. Good afternoon. I have with me today, I am honored to introduce my guest, Rob Murphy.
Hi, Lizzie.
Hi, Rob. Rob is the co-author of my latest children's book, Miss Lizzie's Race, Miss Lizzie's Rosewood Race. And we are going to talk to you today about an event that happened over the weekend. It was the centennial, the Rosewood Centennial. And we celebrated and commemorated downtown at the Gainesville Plaza. We brought in several different supporters, organizations, and we had a wonderful time reliving and reflecting on the lives of the people that survived the Rosewood Massacre and the descendants that are still living today, taking this story forward. And I happen to be one of them. My aunt, Matilda Gussie Brown Carrier, was the Rosewood school teacher. She was a survivor. She told my mother her story. My mother told me her story. And since 1992, I have been researching, authenticating, and telling the Rosewood story accurately without hesitation. It's a daily chore, 24/7, and I work passionately to make certain that I tell the truth and keep the history alive, because this is what my mom wanted. And I talk about my mom often because she today, I believe, lives within my soul. I appreciate what I have learned. However, at the beginning of my assignment from her, when she told me I must research Rosewood history to keep it alive, I was not a happy camper. But as I work today, I see the rewards. I understand why she wanted me to continue to tell this story, because her sister suffered the agony of defeat. And speaking of her sister, today I am wearing some apparel from her sister. Now, these are what I am wearing did not come from Rosewood, but these are some of the items that she wore after Rosewood. And first of all, this hat, this is a vintage hat. She wore this hat. So I am wearing it today, representing her and her life. The earrings, you wouldn't believe that these earrings, they screw on. They don't clip on, they screw on. The necklace, she wore this. And I have on her watch. This is her wristwatch. And I'm wearing her skirt that she made. And there is a pin. It's really too small for me, but anyway, there is a pin, a safety pin that still holds this skirt together. She didn't put a button on it. There is a pin that holds it together. And I feel just like she's here. And these glasses that I am wearing, they belong to her father and my grandfather. Believe it or not, I can see very well out of these glasses that was purchased in 1890. And as I said on Saturday, we had a wonderful time rejoicing retelling the story with many different people there. And at this time, Rob was in attendance. Rob, as I said, is my co-author, and he was in attendance. And Rob, I want you to talk about your memory of what happened Saturday. Also, share with the audience.
Oh my gosh, where do I begin? First of all, I want to just say you're elegant today. You're a beautiful walking museum piece of your ancestors. I did feel the energy and the spirit of the ancestors on that day. It was a remarkable day with so many highlights. As you talk about Maholda, the school teacher, I have to say that in our book, there are a few little pages here, probably some of my favorite pages, where we refer to you becoming a school teacher, and we talk about your auntie and the dream that was instilled in you as a young girl to carry on that legacy. As we were doing our book edits a few weeks ago, there were some things that we hadn't quite included. And I recall that we ended up putting a picture of Maholda here in the book with the classroom. And her spirit, her energy has driven this project all along. You've shared many of your stories that have done nothing more than just helped me create a vision for the bigger stories of Rosewood. And they all tie together. They're all woven together with such beauty and majesty. So going back to the event, just the chance to be able to speak in behalf of this project and for the ancestors through words, through poetry. I really enjoyed the music. It
was awesome.
It was amazing.
Because the music was from a variety. It wasn't all spiritual. Right. It was country, soul, blues. We had a wonderful time. We had a dance group. And this is what happened in Rosewood. Every Saturday, they always celebrated either with they had a baseball team called the Rosewood Sluggers, and they always celebrated or had fun. That was their time to have fun on the weekend. And if they didn't play ball on Saturday, they would play on Sunday. And they went to different little towns like Elsie, Brunson, Otter Creek, Cedar Key, and played against the other Black teams in the area. So it was a wonderful get-together on Saturday as we reflected on what happened during those years in Rosewood. It was not sad, and someone was a little upset because we used the word celebration. However, every New Year's Day, which was the centennial, they celebrated. They had cookouts, potato pie bake-offs, rice. They would cook rice in what we call a wash pot. And I know many of you can relate to that. But what we did on Saturday, we relived their experiences and their life stories. And speaking of the Rosewood Sluggers, I remember my uncle that was married to my aunt, the school teacher, came to our house one weekend. And he had a beautiful voice. He was a part of the Rosewood Quartet. And by the way, we did have a quartet on program on Saturday. And he would he entertained us. As I said, he had a tenor voice, outstanding. And he would stand on a stump. If you don't know what a stump is, then you look it up in the dictionary, and would get a piece of wood and hold it in his hands as if it was a microphone. And he entertained us. I mean, really entertained us. I remember him well. And he also told my brothers about the Rosewood baseball team, the Rosewood Sluggers. And believe it or not, in 1955, when my brothers were old enough to play on a baseball team in Archer. They organized their baseball team and they named it the Archer Sluggers. And today I have photos, I have pictures of the Archer Sluggers. So it was really a fun time on Saturday. I enjoyed it. And I think everybody enjoyed themselves. We had creative people that wanting to do and did extraordinary acts that added to what we were doing and just provided so much entertainment. Everybody was so involved. Don't you think, Rob?
I think it was very beautiful, very inspiring, and to see people from all walks and adding different talents, dance,
Culture.
music, readings. It was amazing.
What do you think about Jane Fallon was one of the last country singers to get in touch with me. And that's why she was near the end of the program. What do you think about her?
The guitar piece.
Yes.
And the singing.
Yes.
Very spiritual, very inspiring, very meaningful. Yeah, I was very touched by that. And I think people that attended felt that energy. It was lovely.
Exactly. And the reason I asked about Jane, I heard from Jane today. I heard from Jane yesterday. Jane and her group in Dunedin, Florida. She's from the north, but she lives now in Dunedin, and she is a renowned country singer, guitarist, country singer. So when she wrote me yesterday, she was telling me, offering to put together, organize a, what did I tell you?
Concert for Rosewood?
A concert for Rosewood. And believe it or not, they are going to, I gave them permission, sounds great, do it, plan it, and get you and your team and get back in touch with us when you get it planned. So we have people out there that are just taking Rosewood to another level. It is awesome. It is so wonderful to have the support that we have. And as I said, she is a country singer. She has already put together, and she's going to expand on it. She has put together a website. Mm-hmm. On that website, there are more than 31 artists, guitarists, that have written about Rosewood, written songs about Rosewood. And she is going to attach those songs to that website. And then she's going to hook up her website to our Rosewood website.
Wonderful. So we'll be able to promote it on rosewoodflorida.com.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Fabulous.
And she is also planning fundraisers for us to help move the house and help build this museum. So there are so many people out there that's reaching out. And Rob, before on Sunday, we met a group at the historical marker. Would you like to share with them, the motorcycle group?
Oh, my
some
goodness.
Of the things they were saying, how they were going to help?
Yes. There are advocates everywhere.
Yes.
Even on motorcycles, on Harleys.
Yes.
Yeah, it was delightful. We were there at the marker taking a few pictures, and the timing was such that all of a sudden we had a group of about a dozen or so motorcyclists from different parts of Florida, Orlando, north, south. And the first thing they said was, how do we contribute?
Yes.
We passed out your business cards, gave them links of information so that they could do that. Mm-hmm. And they were consistently asking, what more can we do,
yes.
to get the word out, to donate? Yes. You're talking about contributing to a museum project, rebuilding Rosewood, rebuilding the story in Archer, Florida, that will closely replicate the original landscape. And can you imagine the vision of families, individuals, young people, artists, poets, musicians, people from all walks of life being able to have a touchstone, a place where they can be inspired, where they can pay their respects and they can contribute artistically.
Exactly. And we do not say no to anyone. So if you all are listening and if you are interested, please get in touch with us. Also, what I am going to do I'm going to just outright ask you to go to our website, click on the donate button, and donate. We bring you these interesting stories that I know you enjoy, and that's why you're listening right now. Click on donate. You may donate $2 a month. $2 a month is $24 a year. That's a lot of money. Just think if we can get 1 million people to donate $2 a month. That's $2 million. Okay? And we need you. However, you may donate $500,000. We don't have a problem with that either. We are asking for your support. $2, $10, whatever. Make it monthly. We need it. We need it for the future generations so that they can take this history on. Call us.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History. I am Florida and America's Black History, and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
So Lizzie, continuing on.
Queen Lizzie,
excuse me, Your Highness, Your Elegance. So we were talking about the show, the event that just took place on Saturday. And one of the highlights for me, for you and others, was Dr. John Rem from the Alachua County School District, and his advocacy for Black history, for telling the truth, all of the research, the campaigns. You met with him recently in Philadelphia. Share that story with us.
Yes, it was an awesome experience, and both of us were speaking, but what was so funny, he did not get an opportunity to hear me speak, and I could not hear him because they put us at the same time. Okay. However, we were there, and I was honored to have been invited to convention, an event of such. It was so well attended, and everybody there were happy, and everybody, a lot of people wanted to hear about Rosewood, Florida. And I had the opportunity to share photos that I had taken and the history of Rosewood. And Dr. Rim and I are also on another board here locally. We are both members of the Matheson History Museum. And it was just good seeing somebody there from Florida. I knew he was going to be there, and he knew I was going to be present. And where we are headed with this social studies research, we plan to, and when I say we, Dr. Elizabeth Washington, a professor at the University of Florida, social studies professor, and she is working with us and the mayor, Marlowe. We are going to write, we are going to write a Rosewood curriculum. Fabulous is it. We are going to write that curriculum for the school children in Alachua County, Florida, hopefully national. This is history. This is American history, and we cannot allow history to be pushed under the rug or to the side, because we are history. Without history, we're nothing. Good, bad, or ugly. We are history. And we need to come together and make history known, okay? And just keep talking about it. So I enjoyed Saturday when he spoke. He did an excellent job.
You could feel his passion.
Exactly.
Certainly. And another advocate that was there that I hadn't had much exposure to was your dear friend, Jeffrey Meldon. Tell us about his participation.
Jeffrey Meldon. Everybody knows Jeffrey Meldon because Jeffrey will not back down. That's his favorite closing statement. And I did a commercial for him, and at the very end, I said, and Meldon Law will not back down. I got a call from my cousin Lizzie, are you on a commercial for Meldon Law? I said, yes. She said, I thought that was your voice. So Meldon Law is all over everywhere. Everybody knows him. He is an excellent person. He's an excellent supporter. Whatever he can do for you, he will do it for you. Each month, and I hope I'm right, he picks or selects a athlete of the month and sponsor that athlete of the month. I don't know how, but he makes sure these athletes are recognized and respected. So we had Meldon Law on the program, and he spoke about how much he respects the history of Rosewood. And he also told me he knows that I am going to start my own Queen Lizzie's podcast. And he told me, well, I want to be on your podcast. I said, Meldon, I have been on your podcast. I want to be on your podcast. So he is going to be on my podcast. I don't know when, but later on today at 4:00, I'm going to be on his podcast. And this will be the fourth time I have had the opportunity to sit and talk with Meldon Law about Rosewood. And he's passionate about the history of Rosewood. He too thinks and urges us to make sure we keep this history alive, keep it present, make it known, and he's doing everything within his power to help us.
Wonderful.
Was anyone else there?
To have those advocates.
Yeah.
Well, there were so many people, so many highlights. You shared with me that you had a chance to interact briefly with Bob McPeak's wife.
Yes.
Bob was the gentleman that you met several years ago.
Yes.
He collaborated with you on a Rosewood musical piece. Tell us more about that.
Well, in 1995, my mom wrote the song Rosewood, Florida. And my mother was an advocate too, and she was something else. And she would always tell me, baby, if you are going to tell the story, you need to sing a song. Although I know you can't sing, but mom is going to dictate it, the lyrics for you, and you can set it to music and sing it. So she did, and about 2 minutes, my mom dictated the song. I said, Mom, wait. She said, do shorthand, you are the teacher. That was her words were always, you're the teacher. Guilt trip. And when she finished, it took me 2 or 3 days to sit down and really write out what I believe she meant. When I finished with that poem or the lyrics of that song and read it to her, she said, perfect. It tells the story of Rosewood in its entirety. And I think, too, it's going to be a #1 hit when I professionally put it together. So after my mom finished dictating the story to me, then she said to me, now you need to get it recorded. I said, recorded? She said, yes. Here I am. Where in the world am I going to find a recording studio? Because she said, find the studio and get it recorded. So I went through the yellow pages and I found the first one I found that sounded like I wanted to collaborate with them was Mirror Image. And this was in 1995. So I came to Mirror Image in Gainesville on Main Street. Went in, opened the door, went in. I didn't see anybody. So a young man came out. How may I help you? I said, my name is Lizzie Robinson Jenkins, and I need a song recorded. Okay. His partner walked out and said, hello. And he heard my conversation. So he said, what's the name of the song? But when I said that, he looked at me like, Rosewood? I don't want to hear anything about Rosewood. That is the signal I picked up from him. So he said to me, okay, sing it. And I sang it all the way. It's like 13 verses. And I sang it from 1 to 13. And he said to me, now sing it again. And I did. And I think he asked me to sing it a third time. I was so So he said, okay. He brought out his guitar. His friend brought out his guitar. And I sang and they played 1995. And they played and they played. So when I finished, he gave me a CD. I'm sorry, he gave me a cassette. And I wrote on there Rosewood, Florida. And I also documented 1995. That was it. However, last year, I got a call from a person informing me that Bob McPeak wanted to plan the centennial. He had plans that he wanted to share with the centennial. I said, Bob McPeak? Didn't remember the name. She said, yes, he is at Heartwood Studio. That's where he works now. And that registered because I knew the young man who had worked at Mirror Image had moved to Heartwood. And I said, okay. And later on, I got an opportunity to talk with him. And we talked about the song. However, he was ill at the time. But he was still willing, but not able, to work with the Centennial. And he said, well, I have written a song from Rosewood to Redemption. Since 1995, this man has been involved mentally and passionately about Rosewood and about what happened. I said, from Rosewood to Redemption. So he said, I'll sing some of it for you. I'll sing a little of it. And he started strumming his guitar. And I could really, from the music, the tone of that song, I really could envision Rosewood. I could envision people running. I could envision the layout, the grounds in Rosewood. And he continued to sing. And I was enjoying it so much because it was bringing back memories. And he said to me, I'm tired because I'm ill and I'm going to have to stop, but I'll get back with you and I'll finish singing it for you. Didn't realize he was really ill, Rob. Mm-hmm. He was deathly ill. So in a few days, I went to his friend's house, and they all play music together. They all sing together, network together. And I was sitting there, and Earl said, well, Bob died last night. Oh my God, no, he didn't. And of course, yes, but I pulled it together, and I said, I know he didn't die on me. He said, yes, he's gone. And I was devastated. So when I went home, I knew he was involved with Heartwood. So I stayed in touch with Earl. Earl was a young man that shared the information with me. Earl, too, is a guitarist, and he's doing my Rosewood stories. He's helping me to save, collect, and tell my Rosewood story. So he called me and he said, Miss Lizzie, they are going to do a tribute for Bob McPeak on the weekend. I said, well, I want to be involved. I want to sing my Rosewood song, and I want people to know that he recorded this song in 1995. I said, give me a number. He gave me a number. I didn't know those people from Adam Housecat. I aggressively called them and told them what I was going to do. I said, I am going to be on this program. I did not give them a choice to say yes or no. And certainly they allowed me to sing my song, Rosewood, Florida, because he had recorded that song. And on Saturday at the event, I was not aware, I sang that song too. And I was not aware that his wife was in the audience. So when the event was over, this lady came up to me, his wife's name is Nancy, and said, I sure thank you for the kind words you said about my husband. And I'm thinking, who is your husband? And she said, Bob McPeak, you were very gracious to say. I said, well, I speak the truth. That is exactly how I felt. And she was in tears, and we embraced each other and left warmly departed with warm admirations for each other. And we are going to have lunch together one day coming up soon. But she was thrilled to know that I cared a lot for her husband, so much for her husband.
Very powerful.
Very powerful.
Music is so healing.
It is.
The capacity to be inspired, to connect, to heal.
It is. And art, too. And speaking of art, my vice president, Pedro Germain, is our artist. And Pedro has been very effective and very supportive. And he knows everybody in the state of Florida and the United States because he's an artist and his work is out there. So Pedro has drawn the MLK art piece for the last 10 years in Miami at FIU. So because of his connection with FIU, he introduced me to some people that work at FIU, one being the curator, Yadi Rivera, and she and her team wrote a grant to bring the Rosewood exhibit to FIU at the Frost Museum this month on January 25th is the opening night until April 18th. Pedro and I will be honored to be on a panelist to talk about Rosewood and the art exhibit. It's going to be awesome. And that is another way that we are continuing to promote Rosewood. It's a lot of work, but we enjoy doing it. And when it leaves Miami, FIU, we are taking it to Winter Park at the museum there. And I don't remember the name of the museum, but it is an African-American museum in Winter Park, which is in Orange County. They are waiting for it, and then we're bringing it back to Gainesville, and we don't know where else it is going to go, but advocates are out there, Rob. They are out there. You know that.
Advocates, artists, and so much more to discuss. It'll be exciting to see Pedro here one day, perhaps, and
He's
other
coming
artists,
next week.
other musicians.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. I have a list of people that I plan to invite on Queen Lizzie Podcast.
Thank
We
you.
got a story to tell. And, eventually, Rob, I'm thinking about inviting children, okay,
Oh, that
to
would be
give them
wonderful.
the experience of sitting here. And, children will inspire other children. And this is going to be a good time for me to teach reading.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The teacher is back
The teacher is
back to work.
and every child in Alachua County should have this book, y'all. And we're going to be getting sponsors, school sponsors, to purchase enough books for each school. Okay.
Wonderful.
And at each school, they have what is called business supporters. And that's not the name of it, but every child needs to read this book. And this book, we're going to have this book on our website. It is for sale. We need you to help us make this a bestseller. Take it viral. Take this show viral. All of us working together, we will make history better. Am I right, Rob? Do you agree?
Amen.
Okay.
Donate.
Donate and let us work together.